shot all winter, and it's amazing how that was a hard one. Good techniques to practice. Trying to shoot a bow and arrow on a pair of snowshoes. I gotta tell you, it's a little tricky. That's dead nuts. Whoa! Practice, but that's not bad. That's a deer. Anyway, good point. This is why you really shouldn't shoot at one target. You're better off shooting like this, because eventually you're going to ruin your arrows, especially with cedar arrows. But anyway, I'll tell you. People say, why would you shoot a longbow in the middle of the winter in snowshoes? And I guess my answer to that is, why wouldn't you? Snowshoeing's a lot of fun. Shooting a longbow or a recurve, primitive style archery, I don't know, doesn't get much better than that. This here is my PSE Legacy longbow. Not a big money bow. I think it's $200. In the state of New Hampshire where I live, you can legally hunt deer with a bow with a draw weight at minimum of 45 pounds. 40 pound draw weight, 35 pound draw weight, you cannot hunt deer in the state of New Hampshire, which is why I got the 45, because it's a comfortable bow weight to practice with for me. You know, I mean, if you're going to go out and shoot for an hour, I mean, you don't want to be pulling back a 60-pound recurve, trust me. Maybe you do, but I don't personally. I can shoot this comfortably. I never get fatigued. You know, muscle memory, it doesn't bother me. My father-in-law has one that's 35 pounds. For him, that's more adequate. He's a lot more comfortable with it. But he doesn't hunt either. But anyway, it's something, you know, I enjoy getting out here in the wintertime and, you know, spending as much time as I can as possible outside. And I don't know, you're out here in, you know, February, it's 20 degrees, basically a beach day in New Hampshire. And right here we're at about 15 yards, maybe 14, but you know, I haven't shot since last fall, so I just want to, you know, I didn't want to lose all my arrows, but you know, whatever, we grouped them, you know, reasonable we shot a little bit at 20 yards. I forgot which one I actually filmed, but anyway, the furthest distance we've shot today is 20 yards, and you know, I mean, I feel confident that I could pull on a deer and put it in its kill zone, because you well know the kill zone on a whitetail is about a 12-inch circle. So if you can put 6 arrows out of 6 into a 12-inch pie plate at 20 yards, then that's considered adequate enough to go after whitetail with a bow and arrow, whether it's compound bow or recurve or longbow, whatever you prefer. Like I said, I prefer the longbow because to me it's the most traditional. It's not a self bow. It has, you know, some of you know what I'm talking about. But you know, it's the weapon of the underdog. I like it a lot. And you know, there's no reason just because it's the middle of the winter time you can't throw a target out there and just start, you know, putting a few arrows into it and just having a good time. To me, that's a lot of fun. As far as equipment, in the winter time I like this shooter's glove. I'll give you a better look at it. I got this off Dave Canterbury's Self-Reliance Pathfinder School. You know the website. But I got this, and I got the arm guard. That's a nice arm guard. You know, you wear it right here. I don't wear it in the winter time because, you know, I've got my shirt to protect. But no, it's a nice, very high quality, all leather. You know, almost medieval looking. But I got this and this. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money. I think it was like 40 bucks or something. Good investment, and I really like this glove. It's all leather. Got a nice, well, I think the inside is a synthetic. You know, it'd be a little hot in the summertime. You'd probably want just the fingers or a western tab. But this is a good tight fit. You know, I'm very comfortable, very happy with it. Something else I wanted to kind of share. When you string your bow, I know for 30 years I did this, put it between my legs, bent it over, no problem. What I learned from a very experienced bowyer, or bow guy, whatever. This is a bow stringer. Costs about $6. It's made by a company called Neat. And all you do is one end goes over, and the other end goes over, like that, not tight. But this ought to be a trick. I gotta admit, this is the first time I've done this wearing snowshoes, but I'm going to give it a shot. All you do is you pull upward, take one end off, doesn't matter which side, and lower it back down. Now you've unstrung your bow. Okay, I'm going to try to get this into frame so you can see it. But as I said, make sure you got one side in place, like that, nice and tight. Slide this on. You can push this side all the way on. And the other side is going to look like this, with a little bit of gap. Now hopefully I can get this for you. And you've strung your bow. Another little thing that's interesting is the what they call the foo-foo fletching, and that's just a very large feather on the end. You know, in comparison to the standard feathers, the idea of this is it slows the flight of the arrow down really fast. So if you shoot at a flying bird, or if you shooting at a short distance, this thing will only go, you know, it won't go nearly as far as this arrow because of these feathers. When you shoot it, it slows down, and you can retrieve your arrow. And these are called bludgeon tips. At least that's what I call them. And that's if you want to knock a squirrel out of a tree, or you know, not put an arrow through something. If you just want to thump it, that's what that's for. And with that, with the foo-foo fletching, it makes a pretty good, you know, it makes a pretty good little weapon at, you know, 10 or 15, you know, 10 yards. You want to take a pop at a squirrel or a dove or whatever you got to put in the fry pan. Works pretty slick. So I like to have a couple of these on me when I'm out knocking around in the woods. Alright, I guess we'll go Hollywood. See if we can do it over 20 yards. Oh, baby. Nice one. Lost a piece of fletching on that one. Yeah. Kind of curious how this will shoot with missing one of the feathers. You see, it came off. I get a little close with the one of the arrows. That's the problem with when you're shooting all at the same bullseye. You tend to hit your arrows, and this is what happens. So you're better off to pick different spots on the target and know where you're shooting. But anyway, curious how this is going to fly at 20 yards plus, missing the feather. Got it in the bottom. It hit about, it's only about 4 or 5 inches low. Oh. Well, that's interesting. It only hit about 4 inches low at 20 plus yards. And I mean, I don't know. If you're out and, you know, if this is your last arrow and you got to take that shot, oh, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Anyway. Got a small stove. Doesn't like big pieces, unfortunately.